Now you've become rather famous in Ireland. For what reason?
Well, I am now the president of the UFO Society of Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And how this happened, so quite by chance really. Well, not chance, I always call these things synchronicity. In 1996 there was an article in one of the Sunday papers to say there had been a crash in the Curlew Mountains. The Curlew Mountains are just outside of Boyle County, Roscommon. And two people came down to check this out, investigate this supposed UFO crash. Did a presentation in one of the pubs here. And talking to the people in the town after that, so many of them seemed to be interested and to have had experiences of one description or the other, but never told anybody before because they were embarrassed, to be quite honest with you. And I said, wouldn't it be nice to form a little society where we could meet regularly and talk about our experiences and in an atmosphere of confidentiality, where nobody would laugh at anybody else. And that went on for a little while. Well, then in February 1998, I was interviewed by Women's Way, and I was had a two-page spread in Women's Way, and I shared the front page with no less a person than Robbie Williams. I must show you that. Look at that, Robbie Williams. When that paper hit the stands, I was interviewed by practically every radio station in the country, from Donegal down to Wexford, Dublin, everywhere. And everybody seemed to be saying the same thing. I saw something 20, 30 years ago, never told anybody before. Isn't it great to talk to somebody who will listen to me, but not only that, who will believe me. That was the important thing. So I thought, well, it's silly to stay a little organisation in the west of Ireland. I'll become UFO Society of Ireland.
So in '96, that was a UFO crash, was it?
It wasn't actually a UFO crash. We never really got to the bottom of that, but we do know that the roads in that area were all blocked off, and there were sort of men in black in limousines, you know, with American accents seen around the place and stuff like that. But what we think is one of two things. It was a helicopter crash. It was either one of these black helicopters that was around at the time when Bill Clinton was visiting the North. It could have been that. Or the other theory we heard was it was a Saab helicopter from the Swedish Air Force being tested, and it had just crashed.
Right.
Because we do know that military helicopters came down from Finna Camp in Donegal, and you know, everything was very hush-hush. And I was told by one of our Garda sergeants here in Boyle not to bother to even consider going down that road because nothing happened, but of course they would say that anyway.
Right. Since '96, have you yourself seen anything?
Yes, I have. And this was on the 19th of November 1999. I don't know whether you want to see this or take a picture of it afterwards. This is the view from my bedroom window. And it was the 19th of November 1999. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. And so it was quite dark. I saw this orange cigar-shaped object going through the sky. And I thought, that's very strange. And people are always trying to tell me that the American Air Force trying to test things out, as though they're going to test them over a little town like Boyle, when they've got all that lovely Nevada desert to test them out on. So anyway, I saw this one, another, 7 of them all together in succession. And I thought to myself, this is something very strange. So a little later on in the morning, I telephoned one of my members who is very psychic. And I said, look, see if you can find something out for me. And he came back a little later. And he said he had a message. And the message was this: tell Betty that the UFOs she saw were there to assist the passage of time to ensure the correct sequence of events in the new millennium. When the new millennium came and went, people will recall that they expected all the computers to crash, they expected all the aircraft to fall out of the sky, they expected mayhem generally, and nothing happened. And I believe it's because they were looking after us.
And was that the first time? And have you had any since?
Yeah, that was the first time. On another occasion I saw a light, which I thought was a satellite to start with, and it went into a cloud, and I was waiting for it to come out the other side, and it didn't.
Right.
And I thought that was very odd. And 3 of them did this. Well, you don't get 3 satellites one after the other for a start, and then they just don't go into clouds and stay there.
Yeah.
But I have heard many instances since of people seeing lights going into clouds and not coming out the other side.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just a smallish cloud, it should come out the other side.
Yeah.
And these
So what time of the day was that?
Oh, that was about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was like during the day.
Right. So what time of the year?
It was like springtime.
Springtime.
Yes,
right.
yes.
I see.
Yes.
And how far apart from each other were the 3 lights?
Just
in terms
like
of time?
Just a few minutes, say 1 minute after the other, and
Right.
the second one and the third one. And I was just waiting for them to come out, and they didn't come out of the cloud.
And were the lights flashing, or was it a steady light?
No, just a steady light. I thought it was a satellite, actually, to tell you the truth.
Right.
It wasn't flashing because if it was a plane, it would come through the other side. If it was a satellite, it would come through the other side. It would just gone behind the cloud and come through.
And it was the only cloud in the sky at the time?
Yeah, the only cloud in the sky, quite a smallish, big sort of fluffy sort of cloud. And they just stopped there. Constantly I'm getting people ringing me or emailing me to say they've seen lights all over the country. So it's not just more reported in Boyle, for the simple reason that I live in Boyle, and the people know me, so they know who to report to. But now, because I'm getting better known, I get phone calls from Donegal, Wexford, Gorey, everywhere.
But you were saying something about Lough Key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is very interesting, because first of all, on the 14th of December 1998, we were up the Moyle Tarn, and we saw these lights flashing, left, right, and somebody said, oh, there's meteorites. And I said, no, because a meteorite goes down to Earth, it doesn't go horizontal. And these were going horizontal. About 20 of them we saw, going from one side to the other. We were amazed at this. In fact, some people got a little bit nervous, because they weren't happy with this. And then we saw a huge white light that just sort of appeared out of nowhere and then shot off like towards the west, and then just disappeared. And then another time, there was, it was on the 1st of January 2005, there was a charity swim on one of the shores of Lough Key. It's called Doon Shore. It's a tiny little shore. But this lady's brother went down with her. He had just bought a new digital camera. So he took a photograph of his sister. Then he turned his attention to a little island which is about 500 meters off the shore. And this is the island here. He wanted it as a screensaver for his computer. Well, when he went home and processed it on the computer, he saw a huge white light in the middle of it. So he brought this picture to show me, and as he was leaving, he said, there's a portal there. And I thought, that's a funny thing for him to say. And for those people who are not quite aware what a portal is a doorway. But in our way of thinking, a portal is a doorway to another dimension.
What is your conclusion so far regarding what you've learned over the last 10 years or more?
I would say that all I have learned, from all I've learned, I would say that the extraterrestrials, when they do make themselves known, will be coming in peace and love and light to help us.
Thank you very much.